The worst thing I heard after recovering from coma was my fiancé's mother, Patricia, saying in a hushed voice, "We should plan the wedding without waiting for her to be herself again. She might never be the same mentally, and Michael deserves to move forward with his life." I was Dr. Sophia Castagnano, an MIT-trained cognitive neuroscientist, record holder in memory competitions, and suddenly, the perfect subject of my own research. I've been thrown into a coma for 8 weeks due to a drunk driver. During the final 5 weeks, I was in a minimally conscious state. I could hear and remember everything, but my body was completely paralyzed. The neurologist had warned my family of potential permanent cognitive impairment, which Michael's family interpreted as a green light to assume the worst. What they didn't know was that my brain was recording every word with perfect clarity. My specialized memory was not only intact, but seemed enhanced, storing every detail of their cruel conversations. Patricia was the primary orchestrator of my misery. She often sat by my bed, suggesting they move the wedding up so Michael wouldn't deal with the uncertainty of my recovery. She brazenly commented that my focus on my career meant the accident was probably for the best and God's way of making me a better wife. Michael was quieter, occasionally protesting they should wait, but his failure to stop his mother's relentless planning hurt worse than any physical injury. The medical team was convinced I was minimally responsive, as all standard tests showed little activity. My body was a prison, trapped while my mind screamed. Only Dr. Raymond Kwan, the neurologist, remained skeptical. He ran non-standard tests, looking for subtle awareness. 6 weeks into the ordeal, Patricia brought a wedding planner to my room. They stood at the foot of my bed, discussing flower arrangements, seating charts, and deciding whether they should plan around my anticipated absence. Patricia confidently stated that I wouldn't be capable of meaningful participation. I lay there, helpless, but committed to memorizing every vendor name, price point, and decision they made for the wedding that was supposedly mine. The breakthrough came during week 7, a desperate attempt by Dr. Kwan to find proof of my trapped consciousness. He used a new, experimental fMRI assessment technique adapted from recent cognitive research. The process was simple, but required immense mental focus. He asked me yes or no questions, instructing me to imagine playing tennis for yes, and imagining walking through my house for no. These specific mental images are known to generate distinct, detectable patterns in the brain's motor and spatial cortexes, even when a patient can't physically respond. I focused with every fiber of my being when he asked the critical question, "Dr. Castagnano, if you can hear and understand me, focus now on playing tennis." I poured my entire consciousness into visualizing the sun on the clay court, the feel of the racket grip, the exact motion of my serve. I was relentless. On the overhead screen, the fMRI lit up exactly as it should for a fully conscious patient. The activation pattern was undeniable. Dr. Kwan's clinical interest instantly transformed into barely contained excitement. He ran the test 3 more times with different baseline questions, and each time I produced the correct, intentional response pattern. He immediately told my family, Michael, his parents, and my own parents, the explosive truth. I was fully conscious and aware. "She's been hearing everything this entire time," he stated, his voice ringing with professional gravity. "You need to be extremely careful about what you say around her." The reaction was immediate and devastatingly different across the room. My own parents rushed to my bedside, weeping with relief and whispering apologies for not having faith. Patricia and Michael, however, froze. The sudden comprehension that I had logged every cruel word, every wedding detail, every careless slight hit them like a physical wave. But what happened next, after they realized the depth of my awareness and the perfect, terrifying clarity of my memory, changed everything about my future.